Okay, we're looking to find out because I remember back in back in 93, 92, whenever that thing went on, the Biological Diversity Treaty. I'm doing this way, and I'm telling you guys, rip my stuff, take my stuff, and get it all over. I don't care about my count on YouTube, alright? It's about getting the word out and letting people know. Now, I know that there was such an outcry of this, that the Senate said they weren't going to ratify it because it's all part of the global warming lie that they were putting through. Now, this is a State Department Diplomacy and Action treaties pending in the Senate as of April 3rd, 2014. I'm going to look around 92. Okay. Up 2000, 99, 98, 94. Here it is, 93. 93 it was. Okay. Convention on Biological Diversity, done at Rio de Janeiro and signed by the United States at New York. And treaty submitted to the Senate in November 20, 1993. The Senate said they weren't going to ratify it. I remember because there was such an outcry of the people. They were just like, no way. Alright? Now, change.org, this is why I just tell you people, don't even bother with change.org. It's a joke. Did a petition to get it signed in, I don't know when. Find out when we get there. Petition's closed. They only got 843 signatures. See a date here. 193 countries signed it, but they got to get our Senate to sign it, and they're not doing it. Alright, and you got these trolls that are sitting here trying to push it through. I don't even believe there's any real tree huggers anymore. You know, it's always a handful of people with a lot of money. It's like a paid lobbyist group. Alright, but they're all blaming it on, you know, it's for the environment. That is not what their intentions are. At all. Why can't I get out of this? There it is. Okay. Biological Diversity, defender.org. They're telling Obama to endorse the CBD, and the Senate should promptly offer its advice and consent to the ratification. Biological cow diversity, saying the United States is necessary to protect the biological diversity. Discerning. Foreign Senate, blah blah blah, same thing. The people are not crying for this. They are. Digital Commons, Fu Berlin. Okay, when I was searching it out before, I had to go to my history. So there was one that blew up right in my face. There it is. Why everybody loses from U.S. boycott of the UN Biodiversity Agreement. Who's there but ChinaDialogue.net? Okay. Now we all know that this is their propaganda machine to get people to do things. And here they are telling people it's about biological, etc., etc., etc. Here you are taking our land so you can go in there and put a solar plant in there. You can pause this and read it all. I'm not going to do that. Alright, I want to get into the meat of it, and then you people can trace out these money trails. We're on we're on the China money trail right now on this next one. Here we have the Sagebrush Rebellion back in the 80s, which was started by Carter because he did the same exact crap out west. Okay? Tried to just destroy their economy. Alright? You can see it here, www.vcdh Virginia Education. Okay? Did the same thing, stopping the oil. This went all the way up into Alaska with Carter. He punished them because they didn't vote for him. You can understand why. Okay? That's what the sagebrush thing was about. And they were dependent on Reagan to straighten it out. It seemed like it was all quiet till Obama came in. Everybody wants to strip the West, but nobody wants to pay for it. Now, since Carter, they've been slowly sucking this land up. They tried to get North Dakota and South Dakota. They said no. Now North Dakota's pulling all its oil with no problem. South Dakota let them put a pipeline through because the feds couldn't stop them. Nebraska, they virtually have no federal land, but they went and stopped the pipeline there. All right, you know, there's enough oil between North Dakota and South Dakota to pay off the national debt and the tax revenue. They don't want it to happen because of later on you'll see the people connected. They want to make America their little thing. Now, once again, I tell you, in Nye County, this was fought out and won, and the feds were chased out off the rancher's land. Okay? Unless he sells out, they can't touch him. But it shouldn't have to be like that. Here's the map of what they really want to do. That red is uninhabitable, and that red is all where they have where they want to do the mining. It's not about protecting the environment. You know, they're killing the turtles. They're tired of taking care of them. That we're supposed to be cows stepping on them. You know, it's people. You got to stop it. Okay. Let's look at the other map. Now, see these little areas of pale blue? That's the only place people are going to be allowed if they behave. Guess they're going to kill you if you don't. Okay, all these little areas, that's where they're going to let you live. You come into this zone and it's probably going to be something like they shoot you, and you ain't going to be allowed in these zones because they're going to be doing their little things here. It's just like, you know, America is so rich in resources, but they want you to be slaves to pull it. All right, I guess they can't control Africa anymore, or the Muslims over there. So now they're going to come over here and do it here. I don't know what their problem is, but they did it through that biodiversity treaty, which was never signed or ratified. It was signed, but it was never ratified, would make it a soft treaty. It's an unenforceable treaty. But the feds are not allowed to own land, but yet they're bullying everybody. Right? Your cause is just. The Constitution says, Article 1, Section 8. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 17 says the feds are only allowed 10 little square miles of wherever they set up the capital, which is D.C. All right, they get exclusive control of that. Period. Not out here. The only reason they're keeping control is because they got bigger guns than everybody else.
Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight to the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny. My soul will never rest. There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, there is no retreat but in submission and slavery. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated. Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased as the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take. But as for me, give me liberty or give me death. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll fight till the end, till my last breath. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll stand against tyranny, my soul will never rest. Give me liberty or give me death. I'll trade my life for freedom with no regret. It is natural to man to indulge in the illusions of hope. We are apt to shut our eyes against a painful truth and listen to the song of that siren till she transforms us into beasts.
Hey, George, Jesse. I heard you were back. Hello, Becky.
Yeah.
Hope.
Welcome home, George.
Well, we made it, huh, George?
Well, either that or we're dead. Nobody told us. How you feeling?
Oh, I'm fine. Just fine. Cheer, Johnny Dynamite's back. Ron Star and all. We're all getting together at the Blue Moon Thursday night. Everybody's gonna be there.
Well, so will I.
As a matter of fact, there's something I want to talk to you about, George. It's important.
We better get going, Jesse.
Right. So I'll see you Thursday night, 2100.
Well, you can be there 2100. I'm gonna be there at 9 o'clock.
All right. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
You look great.
Bye-bye. Is he gonna be all right?
Well, it's hard to tell with head wounds. My father thinks he's going to be all right. It's going to take some time, though.
He still likes to talk a lot, doesn't he? We used to say he was vaccinated with a phonograph needle.
I'm happy to see you, George. I'm a little busy, though.
I just need a minute. It's important.
All right, come on.
You know, the last time I saw you, you were planting a garden outside your house. But you didn't see me. I was on a bus on my way to basic.
Well, the garden's long gone.
They tell me you're doing good work here.
Well, after staring at the ceiling for a couple of months, realized that wasn't going to bring Tim back. I went back to school, got my degree, psychology. Figured there'd be plenty to do when the boys got back. So Daddy kind of takes care of their bodies, and I try and take care of their minds. So far, he has a much higher success rate.
I just wanted you to know how sorry I am about Tim. I was gonna write a letter.
Oh, that's all right, George.
I really didn't know what to say.
Widows aren't much in fashion this time of year. After all, we won the war, the boys are coming home. Guess it's just much easier to watch a parade. People don't really want to think about all those wives and children don't feel much like celebrating.
Well, I'm sorry, Hope. If there's anything I can do.
Glad you come here, George. What is it you wanted to say to me?
I was with Tim when he died. It happened right in front of me. It was all so quick. I held him and then he died in my arms.
Did he suffer, George? Tell me the truth.
I don't think he really felt anything. Except maybe cold. He told me he was cold. And then he asked me to come see you. Tell you that he loved you. He wanted you to know that he was thinking of you when he died.
Human beings have an amazing capacity for pain, George. Did you know that? Good thing, too, because just about when you think you've had all you can take, there's plenty more where that came from.
I'm sorry, Hope.
I have to say, I was surprised when you and Tim became friends during the war. You were such opposites in school. Tim was gonna change the world. And you were gonna own it.
That seems like such a long time ago. He was a good man, Hope. And a good friend. But you don't need me to tell you that. Like I said, if there's anything I can do, you let me know.
George, did Tim say anything else?
He looked up at me. And he said, "Don't look so scared, George. You're dead already anyway. You've been dead ever since law school. You just don't know it."
Well, got this place humming, that's for sure. I never seen it so organized. Brand new lathe.
Yeah, well, we did pretty good last year. It seemed like a smart idea to put some money back in the business. I would have asked you about it, Jeff.
Well, I wasn't exactly right around the corner now, was I?
Are you all right?
Fine, I don't know why. I expected it to be the same.
4 years is a long time.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
I'm sorry, Jess. I didn't mean for it to
That's all right. What's this?
We got a contract with Air Force Base. Steering linkage for the C4.
I can see that, but what's this 5% over cost on every 5,000?
The mayor. Comes out of our profits.
You mean Cantrell's taking a payoff from us on a military contract?
He brought us the job, Jesse.
I can't believe it. I mean, it's one thing to pay him off to stay in business. I mean, everybody's used to that, but to skim on a war contract.
Well, he's got this whole system worked out.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Business tax, he calls it. Everything else has a luxury tax. Everybody's got to live with it. It ain't just us.
It's just not right. Someday I'm gonna tax him up. I'm gonna tax him right where it hurts.
Well, I'll say this much for Truman. He doesn't trust the Russians the way Roosevelt did. He understands that deep down they're up to no good.
Mr. Meade, well, they were good enough to fight with us.
You watch. Stalin's going to try and take over the world. Mark my words, our next war will be with the Russians, I guarantee it.
Mr. Mayor.
UN says there's not going to be any more wars.
You believe that, George?
No.
Well, of course not.
Excuse me.
Human nature. As long as there are things that people want that they can't have, there will be war.
Well, here's to this war being over.
Here, here. George?
How's it feel to be working with your father?
Like being back in battle, only quieter.
George is the best lawyer I've got. I'm not sure I like you stealing him away from me, Tom.
Obviously, I've missed something here.
Tom and I have been talking a lot while you've been gone about the future of this county. About your future, too.
I have the highest regard for your father, George, as you know. And we both agree that you possess certain qualities. Qualities that should not go to waste.
Such as?
I think you're a man of vision, George. You have an ability to see the big picture. You're a born leader.
Election's coming up next month. Tom is offering you a spot on the ticket.
County trustee. Bill Carlson is retiring on my advice. We need a fighting man that the veteran can look up to. We need some new blood.
Well, I'm not a fighting man anymore, Tom. My biggest ambition now is to lay down a lot. I mean, it's hard to look up to somebody who's taking a nap.
I'm trying to be serious here, son. This has been in the cards for you for a long time. You can't deny your destiny.
Well, it's not that I don't appreciate the offer, because I do.
I don't need an answer right now. You think about it. You talk it over with that beautiful wife of yours. But remember this, George. Your time has come.
This has been going on since we were kids. Ever since that greedy bastard's been mayor, he's been bleeding this county dry.
He gets a piece of every contract that comes his way. You want to put in a bid to build a road, you better put Tom Cantrell down for his 10%.
That's right.
Got a tax on every bottle of beer I open. He gets a percentage of every case of liquor. I gotta pay him off on every gallon of gas I sell. And Cantrell keeps his hands nice and clean. Sheriff McMillan does all his collecting for him. And if you don't like it, McMillan will come and bust your head for you.
Now look, we didn't take this kind of bull from the Nazis. I don't know why we have to come home and take it from Tom Cantrell.
That's right.
All right, George?
Yeah, you're right, sure. But it's been going on a long time. I mean, people are used to it. And besides, Cantrell, he's got his good points, at least as far as the town's concerned. He brings a lot of work into this county. And he takes care of the people that take care of him.
Whose side are you on?
Since when are their sides?
Since right now. Now, we got an election coming up. And the way we figure it, nobody serious has ever ran against Cantrell. We're gonna change that. We're gonna form our own party. Not Democrat, not Republican, but veteran. We're gonna get all the vets together. We're gonna run for...
You all right?
It's nothing, like I'm saying. We run Jack here for sheriff, Billy for county clerk, and Johnny for trustee. Straight bet right down the line.
Bex for trustee? I think you've gone crazy, Jesse.
Don't laugh, Johnny. It's the best chance you got. It's the best chance we all got. Now, how about it, George?
Oh, it's a good idea, all right. But it'll never work. I mean, Cantrell's too powerful. He's been at it too long.
Well, I'm sorry to hear you say that. I was hoping you'd head up a ticket for us, run for mayor.
We'd be unbeatable with you, George.
Now, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Now, I'm flattered, Jess. I really am, but I wish I could help you.
I'm talking about helping the county.
But you're assuming that the county wants to be helped.
People are just as fed up as we are. Well, maybe they don't know it yet, but they are.
Well, this was a good fairy tale, Jesse, but it's late and I gotta go.
We're gonna make history, Johnny. You're gonna miss out.
Only thing I want to make is some money. Hasta luego, amigos.
Last chance, George.
I'm sorry, Jess. I'm just not interested.
This is what we've been waiting for, George. This is your chance. You have greatness in you. I see it. Your father sees it. Tom Cantrell sees it. You're the only one who doesn't.
I don't know what's right anymore.
That's what you have me for, darling.
Do you remember Hope Tyler's husband?
The poor man who got killed. Yes, of course.
I was with him when he died. He said something to me. Something I can't get out of my head.
told me that.
You've got to stop dwelling on the past, George. It's time to put the war behind you. Think about us. Think about our future. Oh, run with Cantrell, darling. This is only the beginning. All we have to do is take that first leap. We're ready for this. We deserve this.
Eres tú, reina de mi amor, como un sueño azul que a mi vida llegó. Oye mi cantar, mi corazón, mi amar al tú. Déjame decirte que eres tú mi amor, mi obsesión, mi emoción. Te quiero, Alejandra, con todo mi amor.
Look at Juan. Like a big kid, huh?
Well, that's one big kid I'll take on my side every time.
It's the best dynamite man I've ever seen.
It's the only dynamite man you've ever seen.
Who dialed your number?
Andy, let's hear that bunker routine again.
Achtung, der Luftwaffe! The Americans were dropping bombs left and right.
But the Führer says damage is very slight.
However, as a result of this mission, one of our cities is missing.
Hey, George, you remember the night your sleeping bag caught on fire?
I thought my feet were finally getting warm. Nobody told me I was getting on fire.
It's a beautiful wedding, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Sometimes it's a good idea to get away from the men. They like to talk amongst themselves, you know, as long as they stay out of trouble.
I wouldn't worry about that. They talk big, but they're essentially harmless, like a school of fish or a flock of birds.
Miss Meade, can I ask you a question? Personal?
Miss Barbara, certainly.
Does George act funny since he's been back? I'm sorry, I don't mean funny, not like that. What I mean is, do you think he... Is there anything different about him? For instance, Jesse, well, he doesn't know how to talk to me anymore, and I don't know if...
My husband is perfectly fine. Excuse me.
So we're going to register for the election next week. Can't believe how much paperwork there is.
I envy you, Jesse. You're a man who knows what he wants.
How about you, George? What do you want?
I wish I knew.
Well, you missed your chance to run with us. We got a new candidate for mayor.
Who?
Me.
There is no longer any room for hope. If we wish to be free, there is no retreat but in submission and slavery. We have petitioned, we have remonstrated, we have supplicated, we have prostrated. Is life so dear or peace so sweet as to be purchased as the price of chains and slavery? Forbid it, Almighty God. I know not what course others may take, but as for me, give me liberty.
Hi, my name is Tony DeMeo, and I'm Sheriff of Nye County. I'm the elected constitutional office holder for Nye County Sheriff's Office. I came to Nevada after retirement from New Jersey, Jersey Police Department. I was born and raised in Brooklyn, as you can tell. I'm not from these parts. Came out here to retire. I got involved again in law enforcement, serving as a deputy. Subsequently, I ran for sheriff, and I was elected sheriff in 2002 and began serving my term as sheriff since 2003. I'm right now in my second term. One of the responsibilities we have as a constitutional office holders is ensuring that our people, our deputies, and those that are within Nye County, especially those in law enforcement, observe the Constitution, because that is the law of the land. We also have a state constitution as well, which we're also responsible for upholding. One of the great responsibilities that we have is protection of our constituency, and sometimes that involves being the buffer and intermediary with the federal government. In Pahrump Valley, where we are right now, we deal with typical law enforcement issues, that being calls to service involving disputes, calls to service involving property theft, those involving crimes against the people. Up in northern Nye County, we deal with other issues that are different than typical law enforcement, which is I'm used to dealing with in a city. That would be dealing with BLM, the U.S. Forestry Service, ranching issues, water right issues. We still have, sometimes we have cattle rustling. The area which we have some of the issues and some of the conflicts with our federal authorities would be a Pine Creek Ranch. Wayne Hage bought his ranch quite some time ago, and that was a lifelong dream. He went to college. He started working a ranch. He actually dropped out of school to work a ranch, and he loved it so much that he decided that his lifelong dream was to own a ranch. Him and his wife Jean and the children were bought what is known as Pine Creek Ranch, which is a patented land of 7,000 acres, but it's an allotment of 700,000 acres. And to give you an idea how big that is, that's 1,100 square miles, about 1,100 square miles of allotments that he has to run a couple, 2,000 head of cattle. And in order to operate any type of business, you need water rights. You need some ability to actually get your water. If you're not connected to a public utilities, which Pahrump is, majority of the water it's given to or taken from residents is from underground. Wayne Hage was kind of surprised that the U.S. Forestry Service was interested in his water rights, and he contacted the state water authority, and which actually controls the water rights. They know where all the water rights are and who owns them. It's like owning land, so to speak. And he was informed that the federal government, U.S. Forestry Service, was actually in the process of actually filing for his water rights. And in order for Wayne Hage to conduct his cattle business, he needs water rights. If you don't have water rights, you can't conduct your cattle business, and if you don't have a cattle business, you can't utilize your water rights. So this is what Wayne Hage believed was a way for the federal government to shut down his ranching operation. The issues, as I've seen in Nevada, especially in Nye County, especially dealing with Wayne Hage, was that these are water issues. They actually have to deal with water right issues. And in Nevada, if you can't show any beneficial use for your water rights, you actually lose them. After 5 years, if you can't show that you actually need those water rights and that you actually lose them, and they revert to the state, and then the state decides who's going to get those water rights. Wayne Hage was going back and forth with the federal government as far as his water rights until 1991, when he was surrounded by the U.S. federal government with agents, fully armed, wearing flak vests, and some perched on high areas of high ground areas, and contacted Wayne Hage and told him that they were in the process of seizing his cattle. And at that time, cattle was removed from the Pine Creek Ranch, and Wayne Hage at that time was filing against the federal government. Actually started a case against the federal government, which he filed in the U.S. Claims Court. And since 1991, he's had these conflicts with the BLM and conflicts with the U.S. Forestry Service, up until even to this day. We're in 2009. Sadly, in 2006, Wayne Hage succumbed to natural causes and he died. Shortly after his death, though, I got a phone call from a representative, the special agent in charge of the Nevada office for the U.S. Forestry Service. And at that time, the SAC informed me that she has come to a resolution how we can manage and take care of Wayne Hage's problems with the cattle and the seizure and the federal managed lands, which it's public lands. It's not really, they're not owned by the federal government. They're actually public lands, which are owned by the people. The federal government under the BLM, which is the Bureau of Land Management, which was formed in 1946 from the combination of the Grazing Office and the General Land Office, formed this management office. The federal government doesn't own the lands; are actually within the state of Nevada. The state of Nevada, as I understand, hasn't given those lands to the federal government. They're within the state of Nevada, and I believe the state of Nevada actually has sovereignty on those lands. That's my belief, what's I believe as far as the states' rights issues and the 10th Amendment. See, so when my conversation with Miss Matthews, the SAC, where I was informed that she was in the process of actually getting ready to do a cattle seizure or attempt to do a cattle seizure on behalf of the U.S. Forestry Service, I asked her to, I told her, I said, listen, Wayne Hage isn't cold in the ground yet. He died a little more than a month ago. And this meeting happened in the middle of July. And I asked her why she was in the process of actually, considering this option. And especially when I told her that the case is in the U.S. Claims Court, and the judge is overseeing this, and I believe that the federal government should actually hold off any type of a cattle seizure, any kind of a seizure at all, until this case is settled in a proper venue, which is the court. And at that time, she said that she had some great ideas and that she would be willing to meet with me. I had a meeting with her a couple weeks later in the office here in Pahrump, Nevada, and attending that meeting was the area commander of this Southern Area Command, Captain Bill Beck, which at that time we explained to her what the Constitution stood for and why we weren't going to allow them to do a cattle seizure without intervention from the County Sheriff's Office. I informed her that we have a responsibility to protect the constitutional rights of our citizens. I expect my deputies to protect the constitutional rights of our citizens, and I expect that the federal government also, which is responsible for the Constitution, falling under the law of the land, should also respect the Constitution as well. And during the conversation, I asked Miss Matthews, who did she work for? And she said, she works for the U.S. Forestry Service. I said, no, who's the authority that you derive your authority from? And at that time, she said, the U.S. Congress. And then I informed her that that's not the right answer, that in law enforcement and in government, we govern by the consent of the people that we govern. My badge doesn't give me authority to govern as a sheriff. I get the authority to govern by the people who put me in office. We, in every policing agency, we understand that the power that we have, authority that we have, emanates from the people who we serve. It doesn't come from us. It doesn't come from the government. It comes from the people we serve. Our forefathers were very clear in plain language to state that in our Declaration of Independence and plus our Constitution, and laying out the amendments to the Bill of Rights that follows the Constitution and in the Articles of the Constitution. That I informed Ms. Daniels that there be no unlawful incursions onto Pine Creek Ranch, and that if she had any issues with the landowner and the person responsible for the allotments, Mr. Wayne Hage, that she can contact the Hage estate now. She can contact me and be more than happy to assist. The meeting was ended.